Good morning, everyone. Lovely to have you all here for Bookkeeper Boost Week. My name's Gem Malek. I am your host today from FreeAgent. I'm just going to give the numbers a couple of minutes or seconds to just settle down a little bit. Really nice to have everyone here. It's always nice to hear like where you're joining us from, if you can let us know. I am here in London today. It's pretty grey and rainy, but I was in Edinburgh this week and it was grayer and rainier when I left. So
it's dry but grey with
you're in Edinburgh, of course.
right now. So
yeah, so maybe I left at the wrong time. I brought the rain and then I left. But yeah, I'll just give it a couple minutes to for everyone to join us. Like I say, we're here for Bookkeeper Boost Week. We're halfway through Bookkeeper Boost Week already, which is crazy. We've got more people from sunny Edinburgh. Lovely. I'm just going to go ahead and get started. I'm sure we'll have a few more join us as we go along. Accounting Excellence Awards last night, obviously, so maybe there's a few sore heads in the room. If you were there last night, let us know. Excuse me. So, as I say, welcome to Bookkeeper Boost Week. Just to give you an idea of what we've got going on this week, we've had our pricing session on Monday. We've also had a sustainability session yesterday. You're going to be able to catch both of those recorded on our website, so not to worry if you missed them. Today, we've got a lovely tech stack session with Johann from Engager, sorry. And then tomorrow we've got branding, how to squeeze the best out of your brand. And then on Friday, I will be back for a live panel, an all-female panel, which is very exciting, with the likes of Sobi from ICB, as well as Six Figure Bookkeeper and Linda Owen from LMO Bookkeeping. So very excited for the rest of the week, but just want to introduce us, I suppose. So welcome to Revitalise Your Tech Stack for smooth efficiency. My goodness, these titles are quite wordy. So, and as you can probably hear, I've got a bit of a sore throat today. So apologies on that one. Today we're going to be talking all things tech stack. We've got an interactive worksheet for you to follow along with a little bit later in the session. And we just want to make sure that everyone is working best practice as possible, give some advice on tech stacks as well. Little bit of housekeeping. Today's session will be recorded. We get the question every single session. Will this be recorded? Will I get CPD points? Yes to both. We'd love it if you would use the Q&A for any specific questions you have. And the chat box can be used for more discussion points. Anything in the Q&A that my lovely colleague Alina, who's behind the scenes, can't answer, we'll make sure we flag it live in the session. Please keep the chat positive and respectful. Don't even need to tell the bookkeepers this. You guys are the most positive bunch ever. But, occasionally we do get a few whingers, which it's just not really what we're about at FreeAgent. Everyone's here to learn. So lovely if you can just keep that chat positive and respectful, please. We'll have some polls throughout as well as follow-ups. So if you would like to have us get in touch, there will be opportunities for you to let us know and we can follow up with you. We've also got a giveaway to cover, which I will go through at the end of the session. So as I say, I've been talking for ages now, but I am Gem Malek. I am the Practice Partnerships Consultant here at FreeAgent. Mostly what I do is looking after our integration partners and making sure that we're advancing our tech ecosystem. We want to make FreeAgent a great as possible choice for as many accountants and bookkeepers to get their clients on the software. And part of that comes from forming really positive partnerships with other tech providers. Johann, take it away.
Yeah, hi. So my name's Johann Goree. I am the co-founder and chief growth officer for Engager.app, practice management tool that is on everyone's lips at the moment, which is nice to have. I'm also the head of community, and the reason that's really important is this is a defined role we have in our organization structure, and we will always have, because we know the most important part to us is the community that use our tool. So we have a designated person who looks after the community, feeds that back and represents them in every meeting we have, whether it's development, planning, whatever it is. So I am our users' MP, if we shall we say, at these meetings to make sure their voices are being heard. On top of that, I also have my own accounting group and bookkeeping businesses. I also have a podcast where I podcast live every week, Monday to Friday, every week live at 8:30 on a Monday morning, and a YouTube channel. And I'm constantly posting on LinkedIn with my thoughts and insights.
Yeah, if you haven't heard of Johann or you haven't heard of Engager, then you're in the right place, but you probably have, because who hasn't? Cool, thank you so much. And I think as well, having that head of community is really nice. We'll be talking a little bit about community, hopefully today, but if not, then definitely later on in the week at our panel session. So yeah. Just a little note on FreeAgent, if you haven't heard of us already. FreeAgent is an award-winning accounting and bookkeeping software. We're great for those kind of smaller businesses. We've got an excellent support team who all have a background in accounting, so they can really help you through any issues that you need. They won't tell you how to do your job, but they get an understanding of what you're going through. And we are, of course, free for anyone who's banking with NatWest, RBS, Ulster Bank, or Metal. And that is because we are owned by NatWest. So we're able to offer those subsidised licenses to all of those people. So just before we get kicked off, if we have already tickled your fancy and you would like to find out more about becoming a partner, then excuse me, please go ahead and vote on our poll. Let us know, and I will make sure that we follow up at the end. And if you're already a FreeAgent partner, also let us know so that we can get your account manager to get in touch. So yeah, I will leave that there for a couple of seconds. Johann, I can see someone saying you've got a nice background. Is it Lego?
Yeah. Basically, my reward to myself for the last couple of years after getting through tax season has been to go and spend far too much money in the Lego shop on a large Lego structure.
Yeah, so I actually really rate it, to be honest.
You've got to reward yourself somehow.
Oh, listen, I totally agree. 100%. Nice one, guys. And right, I'm going to move on from this poll. Like I say, there will be one later, so not to worry, but let's get stuck in now. So if you would like to go ahead and download our worksheet, then that would be great. I'm just going to leave that there just for a couple seconds. We're going to be kind of going through this worksheet as we go along today, as well as just chatting through best practice for building tech stacks, like I say. But you can go ahead and download that. I can see my colleague Alina has put the link in the chat box as well. So we'll move to a slightly nicer looking slide now. So Johann, let's talk tech stacks. Let's talk just from the top down of this kind of worksheet. Let's talk tech stack goals. So we're in quite a unique position because you own a practice and you also own a practice management software. So tell me about some of the important things that others can think about when they're starting out as a practice owner to set good goals for themselves in terms of tech stacks. What's something that you would advise?
Ultimately, tech stacks should be helping you achieve what you set out in your business to achieve. So when I started my business, it was just me. I was fed up of the 9 till 5, being told what to do, when to do it. So 7 years ago, I started my own bookkeeping business. And the goal was always it never had to make me a millionaire. It just had to make sure I could afford the lifestyle and do what I wanted when I wanted. Now, back then I was 29, 30, single, just me and the dog. And I had a very low cost of living lifestyle. It meant I could go to the pub every week. It meant I could go and I could work when I wanted, etc. So that goal is still the goal of all of my businesses today, that it should be allowing me to do what I want when I want. And to enhance that, I've always made sure I've built a tech stack around that. So for example, I used to have a desktop-based piece of payroll software back when I first started. And one December night, a client rang, said their employees up in arms, there's an issue with the payslip. It was their fault, but can I fix it? Well, living in rural Scotland, in Perthshire at the time, I cycled for 5 miles in the snow in a December night, pitch black, to the office to fix it because it was on desktop software. Mm-hmm. And it was on that desktop in the office. It wasn't on my laptop. And then I cycled 5 miles back in the sleet and rain. At that point, I realized that software doesn't allow me to do what I want when I want. I wanted to help that client. I knew what I needed to do, but it involved a 10-mile round trip in freezing cold snow. So instead, I replaced that pretty much the next week with a cloud-based one, which meant I could support that client when I wanted without any of the hassle.
Yeah.
And every bit of tech I've ever looked at is like, does this ultimately achieve my goal? Whether it's, this is going to make me more efficient, so I've got more time to go to the pub. It's going to mean I can do this job anywhere in the world, which means I could do it if I'm on holiday. And it's, you know, when you're a one person business, sometimes you have to accept, yeah, look, I'm going to Spain for 2 weeks, but it means I'm going to have to run some payrolls out there, or I'm going to have to check emails out there. Well, you can't do that if you've got the wrong tech. So yeah, like that is ultimately the purpose of your tech stack is it's to deliver the business that you wanted to have in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So some people will say, oh, it's got to save me money versus someone doing it manually. Some people will say it's got to save time. Some people will say it's got to add value to the service that my client is receiving from me. Like there could be multiple purposes, but ultimately the goal is still that initial goal of running your own business.
Yeah, I like that as well. And it's interesting because something that we see so frequently with bookkeepers is at FreeAgent, we really champion bookkeeping as a career of choice, right? But a lot of people tend to go into bookkeeping because of the flexibility it provides. So if you're going into it for that reason, but then not utilizing the tools that you need to make it as efficient as possible, then something's breaking down there. So I actually really love that. And also like that story about the 10-mile round trip. It is, the thing is there's plenty of really good pieces of kit out there that are on a desktop, but like realistically, cloud is the way things are going. And something we'll talk about a little bit later, those kind of niche products, things that really utilize AI, and everyone wants to use them. Everyone wants to have that fit their business. But realistically, you can't get there without first kind of, I always say, put your own life jacket on first. Like you have to get the basics right, don't you? And get those goals down in a way that you really believe in them.
Definitely.
Nice. So then what are some, I suppose I was going to ask kind of, what are some kind of common mistakes we see when setting goals or taking on clients? But I think that is it really, is that you find people make maybe bad selections with tech, or do you see a lot of individuals who maybe don't evolve their tech as time goes on? What's your experience with those kind of common mistakes that practice owners run into?
So there's a few common mistakes I see. One is that bit of tech's cheaper than the other bit. As a price label, it may well be cheaper, but what's it actually costing you elsewhere? Yeah. So for example, I spoke to one accountant and bookkeepers. I speak to them all the time about stuff like this. But over the years, one of my favorite stories is I speak to people and they go, I only spend £500 a year on my payroll software. And I'm like, I spend about £800 a month on my cloud-based payroll software. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, that's costing you a fortune. I said, well, it is technically. How many staff have you got running your payroll? Oh, three and a half full-time staff. So cool. I deliver more payrolls than that person with 1.5 payrolls. Mm-hmm. So do I spend £800 a month on software? Yes, but it's saving me $5,000 a month in wages.
Right.
So people don't look at the bigger picture. They just see the price tag on the software and they don't think about the efficiencies and the options and stuff and the automation stuff. So that's the first thing, is don't just be driven by a price tag. Mm-hmm. The other problem we see is people getting sold on the dream. Do not choose a software because of something that's coming soon. I have sat and waited 3 years for a coming soon moment, and it was not worth it, people. So buy the software based on what is there and functioning today, not even if they say, oh, it's coming next week.
Yeah.
It may well do, but do not buy based on that one thing. Buy based on what's available today, because that's the bit that you can use today.
And I think as well, the thing is that a lot of people maybe tend to go for softwares because they really like a feature. But actually, I would say, but obviously I'm not an accountant in practice or a bookkeeper in practice, but would you say that it's like important to use as much of the software as possible? Like that's when you're really getting your value for money, right?
It is, but then people also get a bit bogged down. Oh, I'm not using the full bit of software, so it's not worth the money.
Yeah.
It's like, well, hang on. How many aspects of their FreeAgent are you actually using for a client? Like if they're a contractor and they're quite small and no employees and stuff, well, you're not using the payroll, you're not using the fixed asset register, but you don't get upset by that. So you don't need to be able to use every single aspect of it. You just need to be able to use what you need. And if it hasn't got what you need, then you need to find a solution that does.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, so driven by price and not efficiency, being sold the dream, and also stop going for the gimmicks. So current gimmick is AI, yeah?
I was about to say the words. And by the way, there's a lot of good AI tools out there. Like I am totally not disparaging of AI in any way. Look, we have AI that we use at FreeAgent, but I think you're right. Johann was in Edinburgh the other day when I was in Edinburgh, and we had a lovely chat about the FreeAgent Client Engager partnership, and we were talking about like how we see AI being used as a buzzword a lot, right? And when either it may not be AI or it also like might just not be really solving a problem for anyone, right?
Yeah. So what I see a lot of with AI is rehashing of what's already available elsewhere. So great, your practice management has AI, but what's it actually doing? Oh, it's summarizing emails and proposing responses. But Google does that for you. Outlook does that for you. Apple Mail does that for you. Like, you've already got that in a tool elsewhere. Why? Like, if it's going to be in a new tool, in one of your current tools, so if we're going to put AI into whatever tool it is, it's got to be adding more value. So, for example, SIF Analytics. They are good friends of FreeAgents. I love SIF Analytics, been using them for years in my firm, right? They launched AI. And it really helps. Because I go into my SIF Analytics. I used to spend 15 minutes before a client meeting reviewing all the reports, trying to spot trends and stuff. I now spend 5 minutes before a meeting because the AI summarizes everything for the last month for me, highlights ups and downs, and it's basically giving me my conversation points. So that's added huge value.
Yeah. The nice thing there as well is that you can present the findings back to the clients in a way that they really understand, right?
Exactly. You know, AI has got so many uses. I'm currently finishing off a pricing guide for all the Engager users to get. And I've been putting the draft of that guide into ChatGPT, not to write anything for me, but to review it, confirm the tone of voice and stuff's right, but also to tell me more headings I could consider and more chapters I can consider to add more value and insight to that report. Fantastic. I do have AI in my emails, and you know, it summarizes. It's not great. It never gets the tone of voice right for the replies. But you know what was really powerful? Copilot in Teams, because it summarizes meetings I can't necessarily attend, and if I've got the insights as if I'd attended.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, isn't it? It's about using it in a way that works for you. And it's funny as well, because I can see Claire Kendall, lovely FreeAgent partner, Claire, who always joins my webinars, which I love to see. So Claire's saying she's been listening to a talk about carbon emissions generated by AI, and it's horrific. I think this was actually covered in our sustainability session a little bit yesterday. But yeah, it is interesting as well, because I think there is a need to communicate value to clients. And I think many people think that AI will be the answer to their problems in that respect. But there is a responsibility from all of us in the industry to use tech responsibly. So whether that's carbon emissions, of course, if anyone doesn't know, not to patronize anyone who's attended, but because I only read about this recently, the AI entries or ChatGPT entries are all stored on servers, and the amount of water taken to cool these servers down, or the carbon emissions set off by these servers, is really high. So yeah, it's an issue that we're encountering. But even if we think outside of sustainability, you can't expect software to do your work for you, right? So if you lean too heavily on something like AI or use it when it's not appropriate, then you're going to encounter more issues, aren't you?
Yeah, and like someone asked us the other day at Engager, could they plug Copilot into their Engager instance? It's like, never mind whether you can or can't, and you can't, you should not, because Microsoft would have all of that client data all of a sudden, like, because we can't tell Microsoft AI what they could and couldn't see. All of a sudden, they'll have all your clients' details, their addresses, their UTR numbers, their phone numbers, and that information is being used to teach the systems. Like, who knows when that information is given out falsely by mistake?
Absolutely. And I can see Howard in the chat or in the Q&A box saying, how many customers make sure who owns the data stored in the cloud? I think that's the thing, right? We don't necessarily know enough about the information we're inputting into these places. So you do have to be careful. And yeah, like you say, you also have a responsibility to protect your client's data in that respect.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm aware that I could yarn on with Johann about AI for days and days, I'm sure. But let's keep moving through this worksheet that we've got in front of us. Hopefully you also have it in front of you. But like I say, my colleague has put the link in the chat if you don't have it, or if you've maybe joined us a little bit late. So let's just talk through what we would love you guys to do is just fill in your each of these squares with what practice management tool you use, what bookkeeping tool you use. And it's nice to give a little tick at the end between the boxes if they integrate with one another. But let's just work through these. Let's talk practice management, Johann. So, of course, tell us about Engager. We know it's super loved by accountants and bookkeepers, particularly the bookkeeping communities where I found out loads about Engager.app. But tell us about it. Why is it so loved by people? Why do people really love the way that it works?
So Engager doesn't do much more than any other practice management does. It's more for us about I think our users just love the way we work as people, our culture, our ethos. We have a public ideas list where everyone gets to put their ideas in for the roadmap. It's then voted on, and then we take those ideas and build them. So they've got a real say on it. We've also priced it so that it actually works for everybody. So every practice management for the last 7 years since I've been in the industry is saying you should have practice management from day one. And I completely agree. You should have practice management in your practice from day one because it makes life easier later on. There's nothing worse than having to migrate from a spreadsheet to practice management when you've got 80 odd clients and you're trying to meet their deadlines. Why do I know that? Because that's what I had to do, because it wasn't affordable before that point. So our pricing starts at 0 to 10 clients for £9 a month, and you get all your features for that. I don't care whether you've got 1 client or 10,000 clients, you all get the same amount of features, same usage limits, everything.
Yeah.
We just base our pricing on the amount of clients you've got in your firm. So for £9 a month, you've got your practice management, you've got your pricing tool, you've got your letters of engagement, you've got your client portal, you've got your e-signing, you've got your forms. Like, we've taken lots of different bits of the tech stack and combined it into one.
Yeah. That's why we like working with you guys so closely as well, is because we find ourselves really transparent about pricing, but also about features. And that's really nice. And I think, see what you said about having practice management from day one. You said that to me like maybe a few months ago, and I tell everyone it now. But I do think it's really important, because what I see a lot of is bookkeepers and accountants often think their practice starts from the day that they have their first client, but it doesn't. I would say it starts from the first day that you are working in your own practice. So having that practice management software there allows you to not only scale up, but just also, I think, implement best practice from day one, right?
Definitely. And, if you know your practice management's keeping on top of your deadlines for you and reminding you what you need to do when, then you've got more headspace. Whether that's headspace so you can go and see a friend for a coffee and not think, oh, have I missed anything? Or whether that's headspace so you can go and get more clients. whichever one you want to go, however you want to grow your business, whether you're growing the client numbers and your profit, or whether you're growing the amount of time you spend with the family and friends, that's your choice.
Yeah.
I think we always say, everyone says grow, and everyone thinks, oh, I don't want to grow my business. It's like, no. What about growing your time with your family and friends? It's just about context.
Yeah.
So yeah, now look, there are plenty of good practice management tools out there.
Yeah, and there's not one size fits all, right? I mean, we're on a FreeAgent webinar today, but FreeAgent won't be perfect for all of your clients, and that's okay. We're all still friends.
Exactly. And we know only 50% of people that try Engager sign up because it's not for everybody. In the same way that Bright Manager, Center, Iris Elements, Pixie, they're not for everybody. Each one works in a different way. And if your way of working doesn't work alongside that, then it's not, either you change your way of working or you find a tool that will work in the way you want it to.
Yeah, for sure. I think that makes sense. And I do think as well, let's think about, outside of the technical aspect of Engager, but even practice management in general, what can tech companies be doing to provide best-in-class experience? I'm thinking about like your community that you have set up in particular.
So plan ahead. Like, just because you feel that you don't need something now doesn't mean you can't use it and your clients won't benefit from it. Systems and processes, like the amount of people that I talk to is phenomenal, especially bigger firms. Like, how do you guys do your tax returns? No processes, no systems, everyone does their own thing. Like, but ultimately, if you go and ask someone, how do you make a slice of toast? Someone will go, you put the bread in the toaster and you turn the toaster on. Someone else will go, well, you go to that cupboard over there, you take the bag of bread out, you take 2 slices, you put them into the toaster, you set it on number 3. Once that's done, you may turn it upside down because it's not cooked the top bit or something. Like, some people are more detail orientated. Get your systems and processes right for you. And then they will grow and evolve. But it's the evolution, that's the key. It's got to keep evolving. Just because Engager plugs into a tool today that you don't use doesn't mean that won't add value to you in the future.
Yeah.
Do try and plan ahead, and especially with tech stack, and think, who am I going to be working with? Who do I like the look of now? Whether I'm using them today or not, I want to future-proof myself.
Yeah, love that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Did that answer the question? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it did. I was thinking about, that did answer the question. But I was thinking about like, partly just like the importance of the community and the importance of, I think like you say, like evolving the product, listening to your users. It's the responsibility that we have as
Engager was built to service mine and Andy, my co-founders' firms, okay? Because we couldn't find a tool that really worked for us. Now we've got over 1,000 firms using it, from firms with 1 client through to 3,000-4,000 clients. And when we started off, Andy and I knew what we needed, but now we need to listen to everybody and what they need. And you're only going to get that if you listen to your community. For sure. And they're only going to keep sharing insights with you if you action that feedback and you demonstrate that feedback. So Engager, we have a weekly live session every Wednesday night. I'm available, which is most weeks, where I go to our audience, our community, and I do a live session at 7:30 every Wednesday night, answering their questions, sharing updates, sharing tips and tricks. Now, I could put any one of the team on that, but does that team member, are they going to see the feedback options? Are they going to bring that back to us and have the weight to deliver it? As the co-founder, our community feel that they're coming right to the top by giving the feedback directly to me. And if anyone's got the weight to deliver a change, it's the co-founder, surely.
Yeah.
So the community will only work for you, though, whilst you're working for the community.
Yeah.
And that's why it's such a key focus for us, because we don't know what we need to do next. Well, we've got a few ideas and we know what would work for our firms, but the amount of times the stuff I want done doesn't get done because we're listening to our community. But that's the right thing to do.
Yeah. Nice. I love that. And I think as well, like for me, 100% agree. And I think having that close relationship with your software provider is just super important. Obviously, FreeAgent are like, sorry, just because we're about to move on to bookkeeping anyway, but FreeAgent are a larger company, but we have a really dedicated team of account managers who we really prioritize a high touch account management process. I always say, if you don't know who your account manager is at your bookkeeping software, practice management software, if you don't know who that is, go and find out and tell them. And usually I say this at in-person events where they have a stand and I say, go and noise them up right now. But I do just think that that relationship is really important in whatever form it comes. Cool, so let's talk about bookkeeping software as well. So from day one, we've got our practice management software. Next is the choice to choose the best bookkeeping software for your clients. What is an approach that you've seen work really well for you in your practice, or maybe one that's not worked so well that you've learned from?
So bookkeeping software is a funny thing. If you're deciding to niche your bookkeeping and accounting company to a specific industry or a specific client type or something like that, you'll probably find a bookkeeping solution that best suits them.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's your niche, then actually you're probably only going to have one bookkeeping solution in your firm because that suits that niche really well. So back in the day when I first started out, if I wanted to go into contractors, FreeAgent was the choice for me.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you guys absolutely nailed at the time. Now, any client I look at can be considered for FreeAgent because you guys have advanced the product so much in 7 years. If I wanted to go into graphic design companies and stuff like that, I tended to find Xero was a better suit for them because they like the UI, they like there's a kind of a brand stigma around Xero, and oh, that's what the professionals use is Xero.
They're a big company and it's a good piece of kit, right?
Brand loyalty. Like choosing a bookkeeping software, it's like choosing whether you're going to use Android or Apple as a phone.
Right.
And you're going to have really dedicated Android fans ripping the Apple fans apart. You have really dedicated Apple fans ripping the Android fans apart. But ultimately, it's down to which tool works best for you.
Mm-hmm.
So in my firm, we were targeting small startup businesses, mainly in retail and hospitality and stuff, because that was what's in my area. So we did a lot of work with QuickBooks because that worked really well for that client base. We had some clients that were on Xero. We had some clients that were on FreeAgent. And today we're a complete generalist because it's not just about me anymore. Just because hospitality excites me as a person doesn't mean it excites Jade or Scott or Vicky or anyone else in my team. So each of them have their own. I really like working with construction personally, run a mile, but Vicky loves construction. Scott really likes tech startups. Jade really likes small companies that are family orientated and stuff. Like Marie loves health and beauty. And so because we've got all these people in my team now that have their own interests, that makes us more generalist. We don't have to be specific. And because of that, though, we also now support the whole range of bookkeeping solutions. But whatever you're choosing as your bookkeeping solution, just make sure, ignore what all the LinkedIn personalities are telling you. Test them all, because they've all got free versions for you as the accountant or bookkeeper to use. Test them all, work out which one works for you, what's going to work best for your client with the feature set, and go with that one. Ignore the LinkedIn personalities that tell you you're wrong. Like, if you wanted to be told you're wrong and be told what to choose and what not to choose, you'd be an employee. You'd probably earn more money, have less hassle, etc. But you've started your business because you want to make those decisions. You want to craft your own path. And yeah, take people's opinions on board, but ultimately it's your decision. You decide.
Yeah, and it's interesting as well because we hear so much, particularly in bookkeeping, but in accounting as well, about the importance of niching your client base. And I do think there's so much value in that. particularly if I know many of our attendees today will be maybe smaller bookkeeping firms, maybe kind of one-person bands, which is great. And it can be really important to kind of have a niche there. And maybe and maybe you won't have the luxury of being able to be so tech agnostic. But you're right, it's hard when, particularly when individuals are starting out in owning their own practice, we feel time poor, right? We feel like we don't have the time to go out and research and make good selections. And it's hard because then you end up with a really cluttered tech stack, maybe a bunch of clients that are kind of across industries, and maybe you don't enjoy working with them all, or there's no efficiencies there. So I think doing that research is always just going to pay off like tenfold, you know?
Definitely. It really irritates me when bookkeepers and accountants say, "Oh, I'm just a one-person business." So, yeah, but so was I. 7 years ago, it was me, my dog, and half a dozen clients. That's all I needed to be delivering that lifestyle that I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
I've now got a team of 12 people in the UK, 12 people in Sri Lanka, supporting 800 clients across the UK. Mm-hmm. I'm running a practice management business. I've got a podcasting thing going on. I've got a YouTube going on. I go around speaking at events. Like, it all starts from one client. Yeah. You don't know where you're going to be in 7 years. Keep evolving your tech stack. Keep evolving your business. Keep evolving your processes. Don't just go, "Oh, I'm just one person." Mm-hmm. Every single business starts with one client and one employee or one team member. Mm-hmm. It's where it ends up that matters.
Yeah, I love that. Let's keep talking through this worksheet. But before we move on to practice tools, as everyone can see, you've got these tick boxes in the middle, and those refer to like, do your softwares integrate with each other? Now, I said earlier in the webinar, but I am a partnerships consultant here at FreeAgent. So my bread and butter is working on integrations and making sure that we have a product that integrates really well with other excellent products in the industry. Johann, I would love to hear your opinion on this. What's the importance of making sure that your tech stack talks to each other? Why do we care about that?
So, the reason tech should be talking to each other is to save you time and make life easy for you, right? So, any good practice management software linking to any bookkeeping solution should have the ability for two-way syncing. If I add a client to my bookkeeping solution, then I want to be able to add them to my practice management solution, click of a button. If I add them to my practice management solution, I should be able to do it the other way around as well. Mm-hmm. If I update the email address for a client in my bookkeeping solution, then that should update in my practice management solution. It saves all this double entry malarkey. If my client's address has changed at company's house, my practice management solution should pick that up and push it through to my bookkeeping solution. It's all about time saving. Mm-hmm. But also, don't just go, "Oh, it links." Look at how it links and what it does when it's linking, right? Practice management wise, Engager links with QuickBooks, say at Xero and FreeAgent. However, the link we've got with FreeAgent is far superior because they've got a better API. Like, all we can do with Xero and QuickBooks is push contact details each way and show you the invoices that are raised for each client that are in Xero or QuickBooks. We can do all that with FreeAgent, but then we can also pull in the summary of the profit and loss for the last month, the last year, whatever it is, into Client Engager for you to see while you're on a call to your client. We can pull in the balance sheet. We can pull in the VAT periods. So we can display all of that in one place for you while you're on the phone making notes about a phone call. No one else does that. Mm-hmm. So it's not just tick a box because they link. It's they link. Do they link well?
Yeah.
And then loads of people say, "Oh, you don't link to so-and-so." It's like, no, we don't. But when you think about integrations, guys, it takes two to tango. I can be on the dance floor all night long, but if someone doesn't come onto the dance floor, I can't dance with them. It's the same principle with APIs and integrations. If a solution you're using doesn't have an API for other solutions to plug into, then you're not going to have integrations. Yeah. So when you're looking at stuff, not only you ask, okay, you don't have an integration with FreeAgent, is that because you don't integrate with FreeAgent, but you do others? Or is that because you don't integrate at all? And if you don't integrate at all, then that's a much bigger hill to climb.
For sure.
Because it's probably down to philosophy and theory and beliefs that they don't want to link to anyone. They want to be isolated. But yeah, just don't blame softwares for not integrating people when sometimes it's not because they don't want to, it's purely because they can't.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting as well. Like, I just always really champion that one source of truth for all your client information, and not having your integrations linked up is just, I don't want to say setting yourself up for failure. That's a little bit extreme maybe, but it is just like ignoring something that can make things so much easier for you. And I do think as well, like for us, since I've come into this role, sorry, slight off topic, but since I've come into this role, we've been complimented a lot on the way our partners are able to integrate with us so easily. And I think that it really says a lot about us as a tech company, which I love. Just the fact that we have introduced new features that really bring us up to speed with some of our competitors. And really, actually, a lot of the feedback we've had is that where FreeAgent was maybe great for those really micro businesses in the past, people don't outgrow our software so much anymore because actually we've delivered features that are really useful to clients. So yeah, it's really given me a lot of insight into the type
also
of
your guys' approachability. So if I want something to be done on the API with QuickBooks or Xero, I've got to speak to teams in Australia or America, and they are looking after the world of APIs for the whole product. Mm-hmm. Whereas I come to you guys and go, could we do this? All of a sudden, I'm sat in front of the right people, like I was on Monday afternoon, chatting about what we can and can't do. Mm-hmm. We don't get that with bigger softwares.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's the thing. It is just like looking at the software as an overall place. And as we're talking about bookkeeping and as we're talking about FreeAgent, before we move on to practice tools, which we will, yeah, we've recently released a feature, which is probably my favorite feature that we've ever released. We know how much of a pain it is for accountants and bookkeepers to be able to reconsent bank feeds and get clients to reconsent bank feeds. You are now able to do this on behalf of your clients in bulk. So let's say you've got 50 clients whose bank feeds have all expired, bank feed connections, have all expired. You as the accountant or bookkeeper can log on to your practice dashboard, and you can reconsent those all at once. So we know that's a headache. It's a feature I really love. So yeah, more exciting features like that are always coming out.
And you don't realize how much of a headache and how much of a time drain it is until you get to be able to do it in bulk in FreeAgent, and then you have to spend time doing it manually for every single client in all the other softwares. I go for it every other week.
Exactly, I know. So I'm just aware of time. Let's move on to practice tools. Yep. And the reason we're probably spending a little bit less time on the following three areas is just because I suppose the more clients you're looking at, or the more junior your practice is, you might not need so many of these. So AI tools, it sits right on that right-hand side in that kind of niche section. Those client tools, they might be like companies like Tradeify that are specific for kind of like tradespeople. And you might not find that you need all of these. So yeah, I would say this worksheet is kind of left-hand side heavy, because as a practice owner or as a bookkeeper, you will definitely need practice management. You will definitely need bookkeeping software. You will likely need practice tools, things like submission softwares, the likes of TaxCalc or payroll softwares. So let's have a quick chat about those kind of practice tools, things that are going to make a difference to your practice. Now, Johann, you've told me recently, but I would love for you to tell the audience, how do you decide when you're going to implement a new piece of software into your practice? You rely a bit on your team's insight, is that right?
I'm not allowed to decide it anymore. So basically, I'm a bit of a magpie when it comes to new tech. And as soon as a new feature comes out, I look at it and go, oh, yes, that's going to change the way I work. This is great. It was pointed out to me a couple of years ago, Johann, you're not the one that's doing all of this work. To the point that actually my team have actually pretty much banned me from pretty much every service we offer now. I'm literally the guy that talks to clients if I'm lucky.
Yeah.
The rest of the time, it's like, Johann, you're going to make a mess of that. We'll do it for you. Like, no trust from my team. But basically now we came up with a system because I was bringing in new tech constantly. So if I or anyone in my team sees a bit of tech because we've been to Accountex or something, or we've seen a webinar like this where we go, that's going to be brilliant. Then I have to pitch it, or the person that's found it has to pitch it to the whole team. If it's a bit of accounting tech, obviously it just gets pitched to the accounting team. There's no point of pitching payroll to the accounts team. But it has to be pitched to them. And it's a democracy. And if my team don't believe that what I found is going to revolutionize their life, it's either because I'm overhyping the problem or the solution. I've misunderstood what the problem is, which means that this isn't the right solution for that. Or I'm being distracted by a shiny thing when there's bigger problems to deal with.
Well, that's common, right? And understandably so.
I mean, the amount of people that have got 6 different business coaches and they take no action from any of them, it's like, it's just magpie syndrome of, oh, this person's going to increase my practice management efficiency and this person's going to increase the amount I charge and so on and so forth. Like, but
there's no silver bullet to efficiency, success, none of it. There's no one software that is going to magically solve your problems overnight. It's all about the implementation, in my opinion, and the commitment to usage and the commitment to learning about it, So
I could plug in an enormous amount of softwares, but if my team aren't using it, where's the value for money?
Yeah.
So I have to pitch the software to my team. They either decide, yes, this is going to work or it's not. If it is, then we start looking at testing it, rolling it out, training the team. It was certainly a lot easier when I was a one-man band because it's like, oh, that's shiny. I'll play with that for a bit. Oh, that's shiny. I'll go play with that for a bit. But I'd actually waste a lot of time doing that. So whilst we do have the democracy on it and everyone has an input on it, we do also say there's a timeline from finding the idea and pitching it to the team. If it can't be decided on and implemented within a month, then it's probably not the right solution.
Yeah.
Because it's still taking time to look at it. We're still questioning it, etc. But yeah, I mean, the best thing you can do is have a checklist. And what's my problem? What's the goal? Like this spreadsheet in front of this document in front of you. What's the goal of me looking for a new accounts package? It's got to be doing this. Right. Then I'm going to talk to all these different providers and tick off which bits they do and don't do. Remembering, we're ticking off only based on what they actually do today, not what they say they're going to do in the future. And then you've got your solution.
I like that. I like that a lot. And I think you're right. Like thinking about what does it do today? What problems is it solving? It's great. Sorry, I'm speeding through the end of this, but like I say, I think the really important parts are those kind of first, maybe even 3. But when we're thinking about client tools, and you know what, I'm just going to bundle in those niche tools as well. These are the ones that not everyone's going to need. And probably your clients are going to rely on your advice for these things. What data capture tools should I be using? If they need a POS.
Everyone I tell you to.
Yeah,
we don't give opinion.
So how do you, like things like POS systems and other things that we know clients didn't get into business for. They got into business because they love the thing that they do. Yep. They've probably not gone into it because they really want to use Dext every single day, which does integrate with FreeAgent, by the way. But they've probably not gone into it for that. So how do we make sure that we are offering the best possible advice for our clients? I know we've already spoken about AI, but when it comes to recommending tools for them to use for their everyday business?
You need to decide, are you the best person to recommend a tool for that solution problem they have? So for example, we used to recommend point of sales and tills. We don't anymore because as soon as that till provider changes something, that's on us. That makes us look bad and it damages our reputation and our relationship with that client. It's like, do we want that risk? Probably not. But also, more importantly, the only person that knows best about whether a tool's going to work in their processes or not is the client. So just because till company one works really, really well for one of my clients in hospitality, it might not for another. So for example, I've got two clients, they are within a mile of each other in Edinburgh. One uses SumUp as a till, and it's incredible. They love it, they're cracking on with it, they've been using it for years. So you think naturally when a client comes to me doing the same kind of business, same model and same locations, we need a till. And I'd go, well, we've got a client over here using SumUp. Major headache I didn't take into account. That client was in a nice modern building where Wi-Fi wasn't a problem. The client who's now asking me is in a huge stone building where Wi-Fi doesn't work. Mm-hmm. So automatically that till system doesn't work. Mm-hmm. So my recommendation was completely pointless.
Yeah, one size doesn't fit all when it comes to tech, does it?
Exactly. So, and it will be the same thing with all solutions. Like just because it works for one building company doesn't mean it will work for the other building company. They might have different processes, different working ways, etc. So it's really a case of when it comes to like till providers, and if we get asked, we normally go, well, here's some of our here's the ones we see being used by our clients that we have, we know they integrate into FreeAgent or whatever it is. We know it's nice and easy. We don't have any issues with reliability of connections. Work out which one's going to work for you and let those till companies sell their own product to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like with banking. Clients will ask us, who should we bank with?
That's how I was going to say was banking's a big one. Even for us, actually, we get asked often by accountants, what bank do we recommend? Obviously, by the way, we are owned by NatWest. You get a free account with Metal, which is great. But to be transparent, I don't know. Like, what does your client do? Where does your client like to bank with? There's so much.
Exactly. So I've got a client who asked me this question. Now, I know this client's extremely ethical-driven person, and that's great. So I recommended the co-op. But I said to them, look, you could bank with a co-op, and that would meet all of your ethical requirements. Mm-hmm. However, it has got one of the most unreliable bank connections I've ever seen to software. They are working on 1980s servers. It's awful. So whilst you're meeting the ethical requirements, these are the requirements you're going to have to consider. Like, you're probably going to have to send us bank statements every month manually because nothing talks to it. It doesn't talk to anybody. Is that a sacrifice you're prepared to make? And if it is, can you guarantee us you're going to have the bank statements to us within X amount of days of month end? Oh, actually, I might make a bit of a compromise on this.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as a client says to me, not put enough money to one side from a VAT bill again, it's like, right, Metal Bank, go and use it. You're already using FreeAgent. FreeAgent's now free. Mm-hmm. Metal Bank will tell you, based on the information in FreeAgent, what your VAT liability is at any one point. Set up your pot. Make sure that money is always in there. Mm-hmm. But there's no better feeling. So I've just ordered a new iPad. Gone into my Metal Bank account. So, because I've spent that money, I can actually remove £100 out of that VAT pot because it doesn't need to be there anymore.
Yeah.
That's a brilliant feeling.
It is. And I'm going to show a little bit of that kind of tax timeline and the features that we pull into Metal in our demo later. But you're so right. I think having tech that just speaks well to each other. It's just there. It is just so nice to have that efficiency there. And I would say as well, like when it comes to even, I know we're talking a lot about like payment systems, we've spoken a lot about AI, but even like your receipt capture technology. At FreeAgent, we have our own OCR technology. It's called Smart Capture. It's really great. You can scan your receipts and it'll automatically pull out the information. It'll match it to the transactions that you need, which is great. Not everyone will want to use it, and that is okay. We are okay with that. That's why we integrate with the likes of Dext, and we have a really great integration setup there. If you've got a client who's got a high volume of receipts, it's going to be a great fit. And so it's really important not to silo yourself. Oh, sorry, I've put my thumb up and it's given that little bubble. It's really important not to silo yourself as a tech company or as a bookkeeper to certain tech stacks. So I'm going to go ahead and launch our poll because we have spoken so much about features of both Client Engager, FreeAgent, and others. If you would like to get maybe a one-to-one demo find out a little bit more about becoming a free agent partner, please do let us know so that we can get in touch with you. We'd love to show you some of our new features and just have a chat with our team who are really friendly. And while you're doing that, I would just say, in terms of this tech stack worksheet that we've got, it would be lovely if you can share it on your social media even. You can hashtag Bookkeeper Boost Week, tag FreeAgent, tag Client Engager, let us see what you're working with. We'd love to see these things. And yeah, I think it would be great to go away and have a think about your tech stack, fill out this worksheet. And for me personally, I would say in particular, have a look at who integrates with each other. This is really just a starting point, but have a look and see where you might be able to improve efficiencies. And this is really the purpose of this is really just to get you to have a really good overview of your tech stack and not be lost within it all. Because I know that software is a volatile and fun market to work in, but also, there are lots of changes going on. There's lots to think about. So we really just want to give you a starting off point there as well. Johann, we've got a couple of questions, actually. I can see Natalia saying this is the most thoughtful and useful webinar so far. Thank you so much, Natalia. It's really lovely to hear. Helen's got a question for you. Many tech companies have sold out to the bigger companies, e.g. Go Proposal, Centa. What's the future for Engager?
I love that question.
I love the boldness of it, to be honest with you. I really rate it. To be fair,
we get it asked pretty much weekly, and I completely get why.
Yeah.
Bookkeepers and accountants are feeling constantly let down by great software selling out and becoming absolutely awful because they've been bought by bigger softwares. I would probably say the only successful acquisition I have seen without any headaches in the accounting industry in the last 5 years is FreeAgent being acquired by RBS, because you guys have continued being what you are.
Yeah.
So
our operationally independent, so it's part of the reason we've been able to keep our culture and our, which we love. Thank you.
So yeah, look, it's a big question. What's in the future? We don't know. At some point, everyone exits their business. Whether that's because they retire, because they sell the business, or because they get hit by a bus tomorrow morning, we exit the business. As a business owner, whether it's tech or bookkeeping, accounting, whatever it is, and I tell all of my clients this, in life, we're told we have two certainties, death and tax. As a business owner, you have three certainties, death, tax, and exiting your business. At some point, there will be exits. Mm-hmm. How we handle that, though, is completely up to us. There is not one solution. The issue we've seen is, in the industry for accounting and bookkeeping software, we've had sale after sale to bigger companies where investors have come in and cut corners and tried to save money. They've got rid of culture, they think they know best, etc. But that's not the only solution out there. If you look at the UK business space in general, we've got management buyouts. So there's no reason why, if one of our shareholders wanted to sell up and retire, the rest of the shareholders couldn't buy their shares. We've got all sorts of options. I mean, one option that I really like, and I need to look into it properly, but if one of our shareholders wanted to sell up, right, and they wanted to exit, technically we would always give our other shareholders the option to buy their shares. Mm-hmm. What if we put some of those shares for sale to our users and we became a cooperative? Mm-hmm. Where our users own the shares? Like the issue in this industry is everyone thinks the only exit for software companies is sale to venture capitalists, sales to bigger companies. It's not. There's a whole palette of options out there for us, mm-hmm. and we will tackle it when we come to it. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, I love this industry. I've spent 7 years in it. I am only 37 this year, as much as I look older. I do not want to leave this industry. And I know for a fact, if I let this company get sold to a big organization and it all goes downhill, I won't be able to show my face in this industry.
Yeah. We see a lot of VC-backed companies as well, don't we? And it's good to point out that is not the case for Engager.
Yeah, we don't have any investors. Actually, we have one investor, apart from the co-founders, mm-hmm. and that's our users.
Yeah.
Their subscription every month is the investment we take and then use to build a better product.
Mm-hmm.
We do not have any big venture capitalist investors or anything like that, so we're not paying anyone back. We've not got millions of pounds to go and hire a huge sales and marketing team to then not get the sales in, make them all redundant, and destroy the customer service. Like, we've seen it all before, and I get it, but we're hoping to learn from those lessons. Ultimately, what does the future hold? I don't know, but please be aware, we are acutely aware of that issue in the industry, and we are already brainstorming ideas if we ever needed to consider them.
Nice.
That are outside of the box of normality.
Nice one. On that note, I know that we're tight for time. I'm going to let Johann sneak off. Johann, it's like always just such a privilege to chat with you. Really appreciate it.
Always a pleasure, Gem.
Yeah, it is like honestly such a pleasure. This is why I love working with you guys. I know I'm going to catch up with you again soon, probably at the ICB Luca Awards. But we've pinged in the demo link for Engager, and we're going to stick around. I've got a few things to go through, and then I'm going to be doing a demo. But Johann, thank you so much for all of your insight. Really appreciate having you on. No
problems at all. Absolute pleasure. If anyone wants to join our Facebook group, just search for Practice Management Excellence by Engager.app. That's a true litmus test of our customer service there. You'll see our response times and stuff. If you want to take out a trial, visit our website, Engager.app. You can book a demo from there as well. You can watch a demo video, or reach out to us. I'm on LinkedIn. Feel free to reach out and ask questions if you want. And share your worksheet. Show us what you're up to. Yeah, it was all, yeah. Thanks, if you all share your worksheet and it's got a picture of Engager on Practice Management, exactly. I'd be a very happy man. I love that. Thanks so much, Johann. Cheers. No problems at all. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye. So everyone, like I say, I appreciate we're over time. I'm going to have my colleagues at FreeAgent give me a slap on the wrist after this. However, I just want to go through a few more things with you. Promise it'll be worthwhile, but hopefully you've answered our poll. So if you can't stick around, then we will get in touch anyway. We have a giveaway. We have a giveaway every year at Bookkeeper Boost Week. As you can see, we are fruit themed. So we've got some Jellycats, we've got a Smeg blender for you to take away and make your smoothies at home. You can scan the QR code if you would like to enter that giveaway. It's over on LinkedIn, I believe. And tomorrow we've got how to squeeze the best out of your brand with lovely Tony Stevenson, who is, I think, here in the chat box today. So if you want to come along to that session, branding is such an important one for bookkeepers, and we've got some great guests along. If you can't make it, there will be recordings, so not to worry. We also have a Facebook community. So this is for anyone who's bronze level and above. You can scan that QR code there to join, and it's run by the also lovely members of our kind of extended members of our FreeAgent team, Lucy Cohen and Will Farnell of Pro Nation. So much insight from these guys that you guys can get. So please do, if you're bronze level or above, go ahead and scan that to join. If you're not, then have a chat with your account manager. How can we get you to bronze? Increase the usage of FreeAgent at your practice, and then make sure that you can get all those lovely benefits. Now, demo. It's going to be a relatively quick demo, so I'm going to go ahead and just share my screen. I have pinged in the link to book a demo with Engager if you would like to, just so that you've got that there. They are a great team. I would highly recommend getting in touch with them and seeing what it's all about. However, let's talk about FreeAgent now. So this is our FreeAgent practice dashboard. We know we're in the practice dashboard because we've got that lovely green banner at the top and a list of all of our clients here as well. So like I say, it's just going to be a bit of a whistle-stop tour. Just want to give you an idea of what FreeAgent is like for anyone who might not have seen it already. We're going to go ahead down to the bottom. I'm just going to switch to this account here, and it's going to bring up the FreeAgent overview page. So this is what your clients will see when they log into FreeAgent on a desktop. But I would like to just point out that we have an excellent mobile app, an award-winning mobile app actually, where you are able to get probably 90% of the features that your clients will want directly from their mobile, which is lovely to see because we know that business owners don't necessarily have time to sit at the end of the day and log onto a desktop to do their accounts.
we were talking earlier on about features that we pull in from Metal. We work really closely with Metal and NatWest because we are owned by them. And we are able to bring features like our tax timeline and P&L directly into FreeAgent, informed by the insights that we have through Metal app. So we've got all of our tax liability dates coming up that are really interesting to those clients. I think it's just important to give them more financial autonomy. So making financial information as consumable as possible for your clients is going to be really important here. As you can see, my business is doing not terribly, but it's maybe not as well maintained as it could be. However, we've got our cash flow here. It's all really easy to understand from your client's point of view. And you've got the usual suspects at the top. So we've got things like projects, time tracking, bills. We've also got the expenses, payroll features. You can submit self-assessments as well as VAT returns, and you've got your reports here as well. But I'm just going to jump into banking very quickly to give you an idea of what our banking section looks like. We call our banking area the heartbeat of FreeAgent, which is maybe a little bit precious for me, but it is really where all the magic happens, to be honest with you. So we can see that we use a traffic lighting system. We have green for explained transactions, red for unexplained, and any purple ones like you can see here, those are going to be manually entered transactions. Now, I just would love to point out how easy it is to use for your clients. We don't expect that your clients will do necessarily absolutely everything themselves, and we champion the role of the bookkeeper and the role of the accountant. So we don't really want them to do that, but it is just making it as easy as possible for them to understand what's happening in their finances at their business. That's why we use natural language. Layman's terms, that makes it sound a little bit negative. We use simple language like money in, money out, rather than credit and debit, just to make it as easy as possible for everyone to understand. You can explain your transactions by clicking this tick box, and our guess rules functionality will look at what other people have done in the software and how they've explained transactions, as well as what you've done previously, and it will automatically explain those for you if you would like to have that feature turned on. Alternatively, if you don't, you can turn it off, and that's fine as well. And I was talking earlier about our smart capture technology, where you can scan receipts and it will attach them to bank transactions depending on the information on those receipts, as well as being able to attach to things like bills and invoices. Appreciate that's a really quick tour of FreeAgent, and I'm sorry for speeding through it. Just got a little bit carried away talking to Johann so much, because he does have lots of great insight. Hopefully you found this really interesting, and if you have, we would love to hear your thoughts. Please post on LinkedIn. Please connect with me on LinkedIn. I love connecting with bookkeepers. You guys are my favorites to work with in the industry. I'm so excited to be going to ICB this year as well, where I'll be doing a talk. And I'll be at the Luca Awards as well. So yeah, please do connect with us on LinkedIn. Let us know if you've enjoyed the sessions. And one last option, if you would like us to give you a call about FreeAgent and chat to one of our lovely account managers about how FreeAgent can help your practice, then go ahead and hit yes, please. And we will reach out to you and we will arrange for that. I feel like I need to take a deep breath now, because that was a great session, but so full of information, and I whizzed through the end part of it. Thank you all so much for joining. Steve and Joe, I can see you saying thank you. Thank you so much. Really lovely to have some friendly faces on here. Please join us for the rest of the week. We would love to have you back. And yeah, we'll see you on the next one, everyone. Appreciate it. I'll leave the poll up for another couple of minutes while I turn my camera off, and then we'll go ahead and end the webinar. Thank you so much for joining. See you soon.